first jetty of the naval base is this one here on the right. It's called the South Railway Jetty. It gets that name because this used to be as far south that the railway line in Portsmouth used to extend to. That though was all the way until many years ago, when the railway line that was here was completely removed. And in fact the only remaining part of it is the blue fronted building off to our right. That's the old waiting rooms. It'd be here that the troops would go prior to catching the trains up to London. Obviously though, with the train line now gone, the jetty has instead become the home to the large red brick building in the background, the one with the white window frames all around it. The building itself is known as Semaphore Tower, and it plays home to arguably the most important people within the naval base, which is a group that is known as the Queen's Harbour Master, or QHM for short. Now these are the guys and girls that control every single shipping movement in and around the harbour. That goes from the start of this tour right up to the movements of all the warships, cross-channel ferries and Isle of Wight traffic. And as we move along, there's a slight gap on the quaywall, but beyond that is Victory Jetty. Of course, it gets its name because of HMS Victory you'll see located in the background. Today, Victory is sat inside dry dock number 2. There she is lined with concrete and is open to the public. Every year, well over 250,000 people will in fact roam around her and explore the various places whilst on board. So, if you want, you can go look inside the captain's cabin at the stern. You can go and see where the crew used to work. You can even make your way onto the top deck to see the exact spot where Nelson was shot. Now, we're not going to get too bogged down with Victory because of course you can go on board of yourselves and have a look round. Instead, we're going to move on to a ship that, well, unfortunately, you can't get on board. And of course, what about our brand new aircraft carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth? Yeah. So, R08. She is the first and lead ship of the Queen Elizabeth class of super aircraft carrier. Now, ladies and gents, this is the largest warship ever built for our Royal Navy, and that is because she weighs in at approximately 70,000 tons. It makes her 3 times the size of one of our previous Invincible class of carrier. Now, to be slightly more specific, she's 280 metres long, and at her widest point, 70 metres. This in fact makes her one of the widest ships anywhere in the world. Now, the Queen Elizabeth, as I'm pretty sure most of you are aware, has recently returned to Portsmouth. She came back into the harbour about a week and a bit ago. Now, she had been up in Ross Scythe out of the water having her inspections done, but she's now going to stay here in Portsmouth throughout most of the summer. Don't really expect to see her going too far for the meantime. However, the next time she leaves Portsmouth for any significant amount of time will be around about September, October, as then she will head across to America. Over there she will finish off her fixed wing trials, and this of course is the process where they finish off trialling her aircraft. Now, the aircraft that she will eventually have on board are called the F-35B Lightning II jets. They're being built by a company called Lockheed Martin, and they have been chosen because they have the ability to land and take off vertically. A lot like our old Sea Harrier jump jets. I'm sure a few of you will remember those. So, all being well, they'll go on to the ship at the end of this year when she returns, and then by this time next year she will hopefully be on her maiden deployment. In terms of aircraft currently on board, you can actually see she's carrying a few helicopters. Most notably, she's actually got an Apache gunship on board at the moment, just at the forward end here. So you'll see the top half of it's got like a little dome on top of it. It looks almost like a little mushroom. We can't really see it too easily from where we are at the moment, but when we get a little bit further away from her, you'll be able to see the top deck a little bit easier, so you might be able to get a better view of that Apache. So, also, as we do continue along, you will be able to see right up on the bow here, you've got the big ski ramp. It's quite an iconic feature. It's on board most of our previous carriers as well. That was a British invention. It was designed originally to help the Harriers get into the sky with a heavier payload of arms. But it does exactly the same for our newer F-35s. But a lot of people often ask, why do they need a ski ramp if those aircraft can take off vertically? Well, the simple truth is taking off vertically burns a lot of fuel. It's not really that practical. So, whenever possible, they would much rather take off like a conventional plane. So, rather than taking off vertically, they use a ski ramp to sort of kick them up into the sky. So it helps them get into the skies with more weapons underneath their wings and more fuel within them, so they can fly for longer, fly for further, and do more damage whilst they're away. However, when they come into land, they have to land vertically. Unfortunately, 280 metres isn't a very long runway at all. The Americans get around this issue by using arrestor wires, which are strips of wire they lay out across the flight deck. The aircraft hook onto them as they come into land. Well, Queen Elizabeth doesn't have this system. She instead requires those aircraft to land vertically, and that is why we've gone for the F-35s. Also, as we're at the bow here, you get one of the best photo opportunities. Looking straight down the bow itself, you'll be able to get one of the best photos. Ideally, try and get the flight decks evenly spaced each